In this video, we're going to learn one of the most famous tool sets in Photoshop, which are going to enable you to retouch images. And we're going to use this photo of this beautiful woman. And the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to zoom in just a little bit, and we're going to explore the blur tool. So there's different tools that you can use in order to create manipulations. So for example, for the skin, one thing that you can consider is using the blur tool. And at the moment we have a strength of 50%, as you can see over here on the top. We're going to apply a hardness of 0%. We're going to increase the size to around 200 pixels. And as you can see, as we're using the blur tool, you can essentially blur out the skin. Now with this strength, you're going to need to go through different passages and basically click multiple times. But if you increase the strength, this is going to be even more apparent. So as you can see, we have applied a small blur, but it's not really that visible. If you check out the initial stage and the final, you can see that this is not something which really made a big impact. However, one thing that we can try if we wanted to blur the image even more is using the actual blur filter. Now, by doing that, and what we're going to do even before moving to the blur filters, we're going to create a duplicate so that we can see the before and after without having to go in the history. And just before selecting the blur tool, we're going to select just the skin with the mask tool, which is the tool that we used in the previous videos. So we're just going to go over here, have a hardness of around 0%. And I'm simply going to go over the main skin and let's color all of this area right here. Let's select it. And this is going to make sense in just a minute. So what we're doing here is we're selecting the face and basically all of the skin of the woman, and let's do it like that. And we have this selection ready. So let's deselect. Let's inverse the selection. And now we're going to go under filter, blur, and we can select the Gaussian blur, for example. So if we blur it just a little bit, you can see how the skin is actually being more blurred overall. So this is something that we could consider doing for a basic photo retouch, and you can make this more emphasized of a element or not. It really depends on the photo. Now, on top of that, one thing that we can consider doing is to actually use the dodge and the burn tool. Now, these are going to help us create highlights, and especially if you're good with arts, you can literally paint on top of the photo. And I'm not going to basically go deep into this because I'm not that much of an artist myself. But as you can see, you can literally create like different highlights and shadows on top of the original photo. Now, on top of that, one element which is often used by anyone who wants to create some photo manipulations or remove particular details of the skin, for example, is the clone stamp tool. So the way this works is, say that, for example, we wanted to remove this dot right here. You can use the Option Alt key in order to sample from this section, which doesn't contain this color. And then as you can see, it's going to basically sample from that area. And as I hold clicked, you can see the X showing exactly where we are sampling from the image. So this is really useful, and you can go ahead and use Option Alt key and basically sample from the areas, and then simply remove any of these elements that you might not want, for example, or you want to limit in the composition. So definitely something to keep in mind, and something that is often used in Photoshop. On top of that, another tool that you can easily use to create maybe different forms or to simply change the actual shapes of the face or the body is the liquify tool. So as you can see, liquify tool is going to enable, for example, to change slightly the face, and we can make maybe the shoulder a little bit go in. And again, I'm not going to go too much into the details of this since I'm not too much of an artist, but you can see the point, and I just want to show you the tools which are most used in the photo editing world and the photography industry, so that you can create your very own photo manipulations. On top of that, another very common thing is to whiten the teeth, and this can be done very easily by simply selecting them. So we can go here, let's reduce the size of the brush, let's do it just like that, and after you select the teeth, we're going to be able to change the color, or actually in this case we're just going to make it a little bit lighter, since this model has beautiful teeth already, and really there isn't much that we need to tweak. So I just want to show you like the basic understanding so that you can apply it to any type of photo. So we have this teeth selected. Let's click on the mask tool again, then let's right click, select inverse, and then we're going to use Command+J in order to duplicate just the layer with the teeth. And one thing that you can do, if a model, it is not the case, but if the model has white teeth or actually yellow teeth, you can simply desaturate them, and this is going to help tremendously in making them white. Now on top of that, you can go under image and then brightness, contrast, or even the curves or the levels, and you can adjust the whiteness of the teeth so that they look even more white. So this will be pretty much it when it comes to the main tools that you can leverage in order to create photo manipulations of all sorts, and I'll see you in the very next video.